Some love stories don't fade with time. They wait. They wait quietly in the shadows of memory, tucked away in the corners of the heart, only to return when we least expect it. 30 years ago, the world watched as a wealthy businessman and a woman with a fearless smile rewrote what it meant to fall in love. Now, decades later, that story is ready for its next chapter. Pretty Woman 2. Second Chances isn't just a sequel, it's a journey back into the kind of love that never truly lets go. A reminder that passion, heartbreak, and destiny often circle back when we think the story is over. The trailer opens with soft piano keys, a melody that feels familiar yet aged, as if carrying the weight of years gone by. The camera glides through the streets of Los Angeles, capturing the glow of the city at night, the same city where Vivian and Edward's love once blossomed under impossible circumstances. A voiceover echoes, "Sometimes the past finds its way back to us." Flashes of the past fill the screen. The unforgettable necklace scene. The moment Edward leaned out of the limousine window, white roses in hand, climbing the fire escape to declare his love. Vivian's laugh, the kind that lit up the world. These fragments appear like faded photographs, reminding us of where it all began. But then the screen fades to black and silence takes over. When the light returns, we see Julia Roberts as Vivian, not the girl we once knew, but a woman who has grown, fought, and built a life of her own. No longer someone waiting to be saved. She is powerful, graceful, and grounded in her independence. The trailer hints at her new world, perhaps running her own foundation, helping young women chase the dreams she once fought for. We see glimpses of her speaking at events, her confidence radiating, her smile still carrying the same spark that stole Edward's heart decades ago. Then the camera shifts. Richard Gere returns as Edward Lewis, but time has left its mark. He is no longer the confident, untouchable billionaire we once knew. His once iron grip on business has loosened, replaced by quiet reflection. The trailer shows him sitting alone in a high-rise office, staring out at the skyline of the city he once ruled, his face marked by a longing that success could never fill. His voice narrates softly, "I thought I had everything, but I let the one thing that mattered most slip away." The music swells as we are pulled into the contrast of their worlds. Vivian surrounded by warmth, community, and purpose. Edward engulfed in silence, wealth, and regret. Their lives are different now, shaped by choices made long ago, but destiny is already pulling them back toward each other. The first section of the trailer teases this return without revealing too much. We see them brushing past each other in the same city streets they once walked together. Vivian drops something, and Edward notices, a flicker of recognition flashing across his face. A glance, a pause, a heartbeat too long before they turn away. The screen fades to black again, and the words appear, "After decades apart, fate gives them one more chance." The hook and setup leave us with a question that lingers. What happens when two people who once changed each other's lives are brought together again after so many years? The trailer doesn't answer it yet, but the tension is clear. This is not just a reunion. It's the beginning of a test of time, of love, and of second chances. Asterisk, the trailer picks up with a shift in music, no longer soft piano, but something more dramatic, as if destiny itself has begun to stir. The screen shows the inside of a grand hotel ballroom, chandeliers sparkling above, people dressed in black tie elegance. Vivian is there, speaking with quiet confidence, surrounded by admirers who respect her for the woman she has become. She's no longer just someone who walked into Edward's life by chance. She has carved out her own space in the world. The camera lingers on her face, older yet radiant, her eyes filled with the wisdom of years gone by. Then the camera pans slowly across the room. And there he is, Edward Lewis, standing quietly at the edge, his gaze locked on her as if the rest of the room has faded away. His hair is silver now, his posture softened by time, but his presence still commands attention. He doesn't rush toward her, he hesitates. The weight of 30 years presses on him in that single moment. The music dips to silence. A close-up of Vivian as she senses someone watching her. She turns and their eyes meet. It's not a dramatic rush into each other's arms. Instead, it's subtle, restrained, a collision of memory and longing. Her breath catches, His lips part as if to speak, but nothing comes. The camera cuts to black, leaving the audience holding its breath. The next shot breaks the tension with a quiet conversation. Edward approaches Vivian, his words almost unsure. It's been a long time. Vivian gives a small smile, one that hides layers of emotion, nostalgia, surprise, and perhaps a hint of hurt. Yes, it has, she replies, her voice steady but soft. The chemistry is still there, undeniable, but it's wrapped in years of silence, choices, and regrets. The trailer flashes to scenes of them crossing paths again on city streets, at charity events and quiet coffee shops where conversations stretch into the night. But every interaction carries a tension, as if both are asking the same question. Is it too late? Conflict begins to emerge. Edward is pulled back into the world of business, a world that has always defined him, but now it threatens to destroy. The fragile reconnection with Vivian. We see a montage of tense boardroom meetings, headlines about his company facing new rivals, and Edward's struggle to balance who he was with who he longs to be. His narration overlays the images. I spent my life chasing the wrong things, and now I'm afraid it's too late to make it right. Meanwhile, Vivian's world is not without its struggles. The trailer hints at her foundation facing challenges of its own, funding issues, betrayals, and doubts about whether her dream can survive. She is strong, but the return of Edward complicates everything. We see her confiding in a close friend, perhaps another strong female character, saying, I don't know if I can trust him again. I built this life on my own. Do I risk it all? For someone who once walked away? The tension rises as the trailer cuts between heated arguments and tender moments. One scene shows them laughing together under city lights, the years melting away as if no time has passed. Another scene immediately follows, a confrontation in Vivian's office where she demands, Why now, Edward? Why after all these years? His silence in that moment says more than words ever could, visually. The trailer contrasts the brightness of their moments together with the darkness of their conflicts. Candlelit dinners followed by stormy nights. Smiles followed by slammed doors. The audience is drawn into the push and pull, the fear that perhaps history might repeat itself, and love may once again be lost. Asterisk, the trailer shifts tone, and so does the music. Gone are the elegant piano notes and ballroom strings. Now we hear something more haunting, a low hum that slowly builds, echoing the ache of choices and the fear of losing what has finally been found again. The screen fades in with a shot of Vivian standing on a balcony, the city lights behind her glowing like memories she can't escape. Her voice whispers over the scene, Love doesn't scare me. Losing myself does. The trailer then cuts to Edward sitting alone in his office, files and contracts spread out across the desk. The camera pushes in close as he closes his eyes, overwhelmed by the very empire he once thought defined him. His narration follows, I built everything, but without her, none of it matters. The juxtaposition of these two voices tells the audience that while their hearts are drawn to one another, the shadows of their past still hold them hostage. Scenes begin to flash. Quickly Vivian laughing with friends, but her smile fading the moment she's alone, Edward giving speeches, but his eyes searching the crowd for only her. Their lives look full on the surface, but emptiness lingers in the silence that follows. The trailer takes us into more intimate, vulnerable moments. A quiet dinner scene where Edward and Vivian sit across from each other. Neither speaks at first, the silence loaded with words unsaid. Finally, Edward leans in, his voice trembling with honesty. I don't want to waste another day without you. Vivian's eyes soften, but her reply is sharp, laced with pain. You had your chance, and you left. The silence that follows cuts deeper than any dramatic score could. Then the conflict deepens not just between them, but with the world around them. The trailer introduces glimpses of new characters who symbolize the stakes. A younger business rival threatening Edward's company, a member of Vivian's foundation warning her that Edward's presence could jeopardize their donor's trust. Even a moment that hints at family, perhaps Vivian's grown daughter, or Edward's estranged son questioning whether reopening old wounds is worth the risk. These flashes of outside influence remind us that love doesn't exist in a bubble. It collides with reality. The music swells again as the trailer shows them in moments of tenderness, almost as if testing what could be. Vivian and Edward walking through a park, holding hands for the first time in decades. Edward kissing her forehead as she closes her eyes, surrendering for just a moment. But these fragile moments are interrupted by storms, literal and emotional. A heated argument under the rain where Vivian shouts, "I won't lose myself again for you." And Edward, his voice breaking, answers, "I'm not asking you to. I just want to stand beside you." The screen flickers between joy and despair, as though the film itself is torn between, giving them happiness and breaking them apart. Shots of Vivian on stage giving a speech to a roaring crowd, her words echoing about strength and independence. Cut to Edward standing in the shadows at the back of the room, pride in his eyes, but also the fear that he may never truly be part of her world again. The emotional stakes reach their peak with a series of rapid cuts. Vivian's tears streaming as she closes a door. Edward throwing down a glass in frustration, a plane ticket being ripped in half, Vivian looking at an old photo of them together, Edward standing alone on the rooftop where he once fought for her. Each moment is sharper, heavier, as if reminding us that time does not easily forgive. Finally, the trailer slows again. A powerful, near-silent moment where Vivian and Edward stand face to face, inches apart, tears in both their eyes. She whispers, "What if it doesn't work this time?" He replies, voice low but filled with hope, "Then at least we'll know we tried." The screen fades to black. A single line appears on the screen. "Sometimes the greatest risk is love itself." Asterisk the music rises again, this time with strings swelling and drums echoing like a heartbeat. The trailer opens on a stormy night Los Angeles streets glistening under rain, headlights reflecting off puddles. Edward runs through the downpour, his suit drenched, his breath heavy as though he's racing against time itself. His voice narrates, "Through the storm, I won't let fear take her away again." The scene cuts to Vivian, standing alone in her foundation's office late at night. Papers scattered across the desk, her eyes red from tears, her heart torn between the independence she's built and the love she still feels. The storm outside pounds against the glass, mirroring the turmoil inside her. She whispers to herself, almost broken, "I can't lose myself, but I can't lose him either." The trailer then shifts to a montage, the most powerful yet. Edward making a desperate phone call. Vivian packing a suitcase and then hesitating. Edward standing at an airport gate, ticket in hand, his eyes searching every passing face. Vivian on the rooftop of her apartment, staring into the rain, her hands trembling as though waiting for a sign. The score grows louder. Each image timed with a beat of the music, pulling the audience deeper into the storm of their emotions. Then suddenly silence. We see Edward in a limousine, staring out the window at the rain-soaked city, an echo of the past, the man who once leaned out of that same kind of car to fight for her. But this time he doesn't lean out. He closes his eyes and whispers, "Please, let me find her." The trailer flashes to Vivian walking into a grand ballroom, empty now, her heels clicking against the marble floor. She remembers this was where they first locked eyes again. She looks up, and for a heartbeat it feels like he's there. But the room is empty. The loneliness on her face grips the audience, then the climax. A grand gesture, one only pretty woman could deliver. Edward arrives, not with flowers or money, but with vulnerability. The trailer shows him standing in the rain outside her building. No umbrella, no limousine, just a man stripped of pride, waiting. Vivian steps out, stunned, her voice trembling. "Why now, Edward?" After all this time, why now? His answer, raw and unguarded. "Because I finally realized love isn't about saving you. It's about standing with you." The trailer holds on their faces, Vivian torn between tears and laughter, Edward staring at her as though she's the only thing left in his world. For a long pause, the audience doesn't know what she chooses. Then the music surges, and we see a flash of them dancing in the rain, clinging to each other as if time itself had given them one more chance. From there, a breathtaking montage. Vivian smiling brighter than she has in years. Edward kissing her hand gently, a rooftop callback to the original film with city lights glittering behind them. Their laughter echoing, their tears turning to joy. But the trailer doesn't give away everything. Moments of conflict are still intercut, leaving the question of whether their love can truly survive unresolved. Finally, the screen goes black. One line appears in golden letters. After decades apart, love returns, but will it stay? The title card fades in. Pretty Woman. 2. Second Chances, 2025. The last shot is quiet and simple, a close-up of Julia Roberts' smile as Vivian, followed by Richard Gere's gentle gaze as Edward. The city lights blur behind them, and just before the screen cuts to black, a single line of dialogue plays, Edward whispering, "This time, I'm not letting go." The music fades, silence, then the audience is left with nothing but the title and a flood of emotions.